The first session then is to get to know your future customers. Not just your customers today, but your customers tomorrow, and to always get to know them so much better. Okay? And that's very, very much important. So Michael told us how important it is to really know your clients, to really understand their needs. And our first guest speaker of the day is going to talk about speed and trust. These are the two key words for him that will help us to really understand the customer journey. So I hope he will be speedy, and I'm sure I can trust him for that. So he's the global CMO of Cifnews, which is the first and most influential Chinese cross-border e-commerce media network. And in fact, as we're now streaming live to China, we can say ni hao to China, and we can say buongiorno to Guido, Ghedin.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for having us here again. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for the introduction. What we're gonna do today is to go through a few trends to try and understand the current and future customers, which is a very broad topic, but I'll try to bring some example, hopefully interesting, on this. So, first of all, a couple of words on who we are and who I am. Cifnews, as perfectly explained, is the first and currently the leading Chinese media on cross-border e-commerce. So what we've been doing for 5 years now is to connect Chinese manufacturers and brands to global platforms and service providers. So we are actually a window for Chinese companies that want to explore and go global through e-commerce, and we're a window that we can provide to platforms and service providers that are willing now to work with China. And we already have quite a few Chinese people here and Chinese companies. China is exploding, and the market is growing a lot, and there's a lot of need for help for Chinese companies that want now to go global. So that was this is our main thing, and that's the reason why we are actually streaming now to China. So we're bringing some insights from the European market to this massive and very thirsty for information market over there. What we're gonna do is to explore some trends. I'll be very quick, so it's just some hints and consideration on what's going on and what could be the future trends, especially considering e-commerce consumers and especially considering the millennials, so the new generation of e-commerce consumers. And I'm going to do this through a few examples. Some of these examples, quite a few of them, are from Chinese companies that now are going global and exploring the Western markets. I don't remember how many of you were at Lengow Day last year. We spoke about this. This is a slide that I showed already last year. This is the Singles Day event in China, and this is one of the first trends that I want to bring the attention on. Singles Day in China, organized by Alibaba, so it's global, now a global e-commerce event, and since a couple of years, they've been doing in Shanghai fashion show, where brands can show the new collection, and the collection can be bought at the same moment they're presented to the Chinese audience. And so the see now, buy now is like one of the main taglines for this event. So this happened in China, and this is happening not only in China, but everywhere. Recently, Tommy Hilfiger, they had a collaboration with Gigi Hadid, and they launched an entire event live in LA when they were showing the new collection, and the whole point was #TommyNow. So people were able to show the collection, launch at the moment, and shop it right there at the moment when it was presented. So one of the big trends, like it's very hard to describe what consumers want now, but for sure, they want it now. So the customer journey, it's faster than ever. People want to see something online and they want to get it right away. A lot of us already know that, we're working on this. It's a trend, and it's going to be more and more a trend. And if you consider the Chinese market, they give it for granted that if you see something online, you want to have it now, possibly delivered the same day. But at the same time, it's super fast, but it's super complicated. It's getting more complicated. We need to be multi-channel language, currency. We have to be available in multiple channels. One website is not enough anymore. And as a matter of fact, I found these very interesting stats. You probably have seen it before. It's quite impressive to see that the American market, there was a switch from 85% to over 97% of people that are willing and currently buying things on marketplaces. And this has been a thing in China for a long time because marketplaces are the market leaders. But this is becoming a trend also in Western market. And this is very interesting because a lot of people here work in marketplaces or for smaller or bigger marketplaces. That's a very, very crucial thing, to connect all these things and to be present in multiple marketplaces. So it's something that we see in China, and it's something that we see in the Western market as well. And it's increasing, it's becoming very, very, very important. One thing, I come from the communication world, and what I see working a lot with China, but in general now, is that there is, in general for social media, communication and marketing now, a few years ago, the huge focus was on conversation, so creating a conversation, creating content. Right now, the focus is more and more on the conversions. We got rid of the AT thing over there, and conversion is the key driver for all the campaigns. And I'm just taking a couple of examples. I don't know, how many of you know DJI? Quite a few. It's a Chinese company, and actually they are pretty much becoming the market leaders in the drone business and also in stabilizers and other tech products, but especially drones. And they've been in the market for a bit, but like they have been actually working with Western markets for a very short time. And in a very few years, they were able to actually kill a lot of competitors and become a major player in the market. So they're present in every possible platform you can imagine. This is a screenshot from their Facebook page. And you can see the whole Facebook page. They have content, they have videos, they have a pretty good strategy. But the main point is every single touch point is connected directly with the e-commerce. So every single post as the price, as the connection with the Facebook shop, then leading to the website. So every single touch point of the communication of DJI is super oriented to sales and conversion. And that's something that we see a lot here now, but has been a very strong trend in China for a long time. If you think about Alibaba, that is becoming a content platform, or WeChat, that is now becoming slowly but surely an e-commerce platform. The combination between content creation and e-commerce is like becoming a thing. So we're switching from the conversation, from the focus on conversation to the focus on conversion. That's one very important trend. And that's another example, still another company from China. Has anybody heard about this company, Anchor? A little bit less people, okay. It's good, so at least I'm bringing something new and interesting, hopefully. This company, they make cables, connectors, and the whole communication strategy, once again, is revolving around e-commerce. From the hashtag, use Anchor instead, because they make substitutes of official product from Apple and Samsung, especially cables for phones, battery charging, this sort of things. And you can see every single communication piece, and we have a couple of examples at the bottom, everything is related to get a test, get a try, be the first to get it. So the whole thing is revolving around that. And once again, this is an example of a brand that is like now among the 50 fastest growing company in the Chinese market, which means quite a lot right now. And it's all e-commerce oriented. So it's a company that has barely any physical distribution. They're just on e-commerce, and they just started from that. Another example that I want to bring, and it's the last, because this is the last example that I want to bring, is Zaful. Zaful is a fashion company. I don't know, have you heard of that? Some of you have. Probably some of you work with them as well. It's an interesting case. It's maybe a bit controversial, could be, because they started off recently, a few years ago actually, as a fashion brand, very commerce oriented, with like super quick shipping, designing new collection at a super high rate. So a little bit of what H&M and Zara has been doing for a long time now. But it was launched on the market. They became almost an overnight success. Very, 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 very high rate of growth. So with the shop the trend, so everything is related to the right now, as I said before. New trends, make available online, have people buy them. That's the process. And it's interesting to see that this company was a bit controversial. A few years ago, got a lot of bad reviews on the internet, and they were working a lot with influencers. And now, in order to look more positive, they've particularly been addressing those bloggers and influencers that were talking bad about them because of the quality of the product or the services. And you can check now the progression of videos of influencers that used to say bad things about the company, and now are actually, since they're keeping on sending them products, new products, making them try new things and try to be more and more efficient and increase the quality of the products, now a lot of the perception is becoming better. So that's a great point. They're working with influencers. They're called KOL in the Chinese and Asian market. That's a very, very important thing. And on WeChat, it's super common to find an influencer that sells stuff online. It's not a big deal. And it's becoming a trend now as well. So for the millennial generation, the difference, again, between communication and conversion is very close. So an influencer that sells things, so that's not just like bringing content, but is selling product, is something very common. And we see that Cifnews is applying this logic to the Western market. And it's starting working. So it's something that we should keep an eye on. And the last thing, which is a screenshot of the bottom of the website, they keep on needing to build their credibility. So they do a lot of discounts. They have a lot of partners, and they show there. They have student discounts. So they're keeping on building this community and building the trust. And remember, it's a brand that actually started in 2014, if I'm not wrong, but they have been in the Western market for a very short time. So a lot of you probably never heard of that, but you probably will in the future. And this leads us to my last slides, e-branding. So right now we are in the era of companies that never existed before, and I really like the point made by a lot of companies didn't exist in 1999, but a lot of these companies didn't exist in 2015 either. So brand new companies that in a very short time, overnight success, through e-commerce. So these, I guess, are some of the companies we should keep an eye on. E-branding is a very strong concept because it's all around building a community, then building the credibility, and then building the trust. When we get the trust of the consumers, especially the younger generation, we get the key to the future. And a lot of companies are working on this direction, and hopefully all of us in this room in the future will be working on this direction. So. Oh, wrong key. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And hope it was interesting. Thank you again for having us. And I'm here in case of any question. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Guido.
谢谢.
Thank you.